Okay, let's talk about the Queen of Spades. When I was first writing up my report for her, I had to say, she's not perfect, she's not perfect, she's not perfect, because every Queen of Spades I could think of was so amazing, and every female spade I knew was so amazing. Of course they're not perfect, but their capacity to be amazing is really big. Okay, I don't mean to just flatter you. Truly, spade females have the capacity to bring so many things to the table. So, their Venus card determines their relating style, which is the Nine of Diamonds, and it is the card of generosity. So before we get into that, I just want to say really quick, if you want to find out what your card is or the card of somebody else in your life, go to itiskismet.com. You just type in your birthday and it comes up and you get to look at a few paragraphs of your report, which is available for purchase. We also have Cosmic Connections reports, Royal Archetypes reports, and a player's guide, which is like a manual to being you. They were really fun to write. There's a lot in there. Great tool for a life coach, which is the archetype of the Queen of Spades. What a perfect segue into that. So, spades are action-oriented, and they represent physical manifestation, and spades culminate all of the other suits. So when you take an action, it's because you felt a certain way, heart, you believed or thought something or planned or had an idea, club, because you valued something, diamond, you thought something was important, and then the spade is the resulting action. So spades tend to be very action oriented. It's like, let's not talk about it, let's just do it. Sometime I will have to talk about their argument style because spades are hilarious. They're just like talk to the butt. They can be really dismissive. They're very carefully chosen. Okay, queens, what do they represent? Whereas the king represents more external mastery of one's life and things and, circumstances, the queen represents more internal mastery. And this is perhaps one of the most important cards in the deck in terms of an archetype because it represents self-mastery, taking full and complete responsibility for who you are and your manifestations. So the queen is also a helper. All queens are one-on-one relating style. So like a mother, a therapist, a life coach. So that's what makes them really great life coaches, is that they will look at the cumulative you, your feeling, your thinking, your valuing, and your action. So they will be compassionate and sensitive and wise, but also pragmatic. So what is the ego manifestation for the Queen of Spades? So I had to dig hard here. Okay, one of their karma cards is the Ten of Diamonds. So it's being the center of everything. Everything revolves around me. Another karma card for them is the Eight of Diamonds, which is the CEO or the asshole card. So they can be like Cersei. Very domineering, kind of their energy can just overwhelm the room. They do take up a lot of space, but they tend to be so empathic that they know better than to do that. I think you have to be pretty dysfunctional to be a bad Queen of Spades. Hope I don't regret saying that. Anyway, so overmanaging, overly responsible, caretaking. Let me just step in here and do this all because I know I can do it better than anyone else here. So they'll just kind of quietly slip in and just do it. But wisdom says other people need to learn how to do this. I have to tolerate other people making mistakes or whatever. So they can also be kind of condescending, dismissive, tall tower, think Cersei. Okay, what is the essence expression? What is the most positive they can come across? Well, I think I've already elucidated a lot of that. Wisdom, gracious, loving support, realistic, big perspective, humanitarian, responsible in all ways, and excessively do-gooding. I was in a band. I was in a band called Severe Tire Damage. No, I was in a band with a Queen of Spades, January 2nd. It is their only birthday, And the only birthday that is the Queen of Spades. However, she can be your planetary ruler. Or if you're a Spade female, this is all relevant. But anyway, she was the real Queen of Spades. I think she had like 5 jobs. Like she was a therapist, she was a vision therapist, she was a dance instructor, she was the lead singer in our band, she was, oh my God, what else? It was just like, oh my God, don't compare yourself to a female spade. Don't, because they have come into a cycle in their lifetimes when it's time to produce, time to create a lot of output in their physical world. And if you're a diamond, maybe you're working on the realm of ethics or priority, integrity. If you're a heart, you're working on emotional development. If you're a club, you're working on consciousness and thinking and ideas. So spades are here to do it all, and I can imagine that's overwhelming to them sometimes. Anyway, let's get into the relationship style. Their Venus card is the 9 of diamonds, so they are generous to a fault, often drawn to be giving in big ways, taking action, in taking action sort of ways. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. They are good with nonprofits, grant writing, fundraisers, that kind of thing. They're very resourceful. They have an energy of abundance. So it's really good to put them in that position of help us with the whole funding thing. But they'll also do a million other things. So yeah, they're very gracious, very... they know how to extend themselves. Like if you go to a party, not only are they very composed, but they will ask you about yourself. They will also intuit a lot about you. So that 9 of diamonds, all 9s, are about intuiting, empathizing, feeling into the experience of another. And they tend to be able to do this with perspective while holding on to their own boundaries. But the 9 can also be vague. It can be excusing of their partner's faults. So, yeah, I have seen spade females very often allow, excuse, explain away, rationalize inappropriate or unfair or irresponsible behavior of their partners. And it's because they're the do-all, be-all. They have to be the generosity, the virtue. So I think it's hard for them to think in terms of, I need to call that person out. Because that 9 just wants to constantly understand and support and rescue. So, yes, she sits right behind the Jack of Clubs. Yes, I left that L out. The Jack of Clubs. So club males tend to show up in the lives of spade females a lot. And if you're a spade male, they will show up for you to mentor, tutor, help. Ripen, that's a good word for the spade. Okay, and since there is a queen under that 9 of spades, she may need to take charge in relationships. So this is a way a rescuer and a helper can exhibit dysfunction, is that they're actually taking control of the relationship. It's hard for them to tolerate someone who is behaving less than admirably. You know, maybe immature, irresponsible, a major blind spot. And so that is so hard for them. And so they just kind of move in and kind of take up all of the space. They move into all the gaps, so to speak, that their partner is leaving, making it harder for their partner to feel their own, insufficiencies or things that they need to work on. So, reading my notes. So that Queen of Diamonds that sits under that 9 of Diamonds is a truth teller. She is also, queens tend to be service-oriented. So that just kind of accentuates that whole thing. So that truth teller part means that they've got the capacity to really speak the truth to you in a way that will support you and clarify a lot of things. They're very skillful with that. So the mature Queen of Spades learns to let go of other people's stuff and have that clear boundary. She needs to ask, what subconscious needs am I trying to meet by taking care of everybody? Maybe that's about emotional security, perhaps. What are you getting out of it is a good question to ask. And what would happen if I just didn't go try to fix that or caretake that person or rescue them? And they tend to learn pretty fast. Ah, that person might wake up. They would be in discomfort, yes, but they would see what they need to learn. Okay, yeah, so sorry for that sun beginning to reflect in my eyes. I'm going to talk a little bit about the other royal archetypes. So if you are a Queen of Spades or a female spade, you are not limited to this relating style of the Queen of Spades, because you have the King archetype, which is your authority or the one-to-many when you're in a leadership, you're teaching a class, you're managing a bunch of people. That's your king. Managing of external affairs. And that king has the Ace of Clubs and the Two of Hearts in its Venus position. And that ace allows you to be more selfish, self-centered, and self-reflective. It can be kind of a narcissist card, which, in some ways I think is helpful to the Queen of Spades. But that Two of Hearts, it's one of those cards where they're in a binary relationship with one other card. And the other card is the Two of Hearts, which means intimacy, deep relating, deep sharing, deep vulnerability, a wonderful juiciness to bring into the relationship style of the Queen of Spades. Because in her feminine archetype, she's less likely to be a partner and more likely to be a helper, fixer, career woman. So when she gets into her masculine archetype, she's more likely to relate really intimately with a partner. And the Jack of Spades, that's a very amusing video. Go watch his relating style. The Jack of Spades has the Six of Diamonds in his Venus. So he's more likely to be keeping track of, okay, I did all the dishes last night and now he leaves the floor covered with clothing. I am aware of that inequity. The Jack of Spades tends to keep track. There is also a karmic aspect to relationship because of that six. So any spade will get involved with a person, typically females or friends, where there's some kind of karma to balance. And there's also a love of harmony and flow and balance, security. That's what that six brings in also, as well as a shadow, a very deep and powerful shadow side, which if not integrated, could really run your life. So every spade needs to look at the shadow very honestly so that it doesn't run their life. And an integrated shadow makes for a very powerful person who is capable of doing a lot of good in the world because they can embrace the shadow of others with compassion and wisdom. So that's it for the spade, the Queen of Spades. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And please go to It Is Kismet if you don't know your card. Look it up, look up the cards. It's free to just to type in a birthday and find out what anybody's card is. And then you can listen to any one of these relationship archetype videos for free. Okay, have a good one. Thanks for listening.